Hey everybody, welcome back to EVERY RV. If this is your first time watching, I'm Chris, and on this week's video, I want to share with you guys a product that I found while I was at the Hershey RV show, and I think it's going to solve a lot of problems for a lot of people, so let's just get right to it. Remember, if you want to learn more and make less mistakes while RVing, be sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a like and a comment down below. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. So first thing right off the bat, let me just tell you what the product is and what I think it would do for a lot of RVers out there. It is called the car generator, okay? And basically what this thing is essentially an inverter, okay? But what's really nice about it, let me just set this down here, is that for so many RVers that don't have big solar systems, big inverter systems, big battery systems, all that type of stuff, all they want is to be able to run some few basic things in their RV overnight, whether they're at a Cracker Barrel and they need a CPAP running overnight, or if they just want to make coffee in the morning, or just some very minimal basic things that people want a little bit of power while on the road without going crazy and spending thousands and thousands of dollars. Now, this thing does have multiple different purposes, multiple different uses, multiple different applications. But like I said, I think one of the biggest things that majority of RVers out there are looking for is just a little bit of power for overnight, for just minimal stuff without having to do the big battery bank, big inverter, big stuff like that. Now, it can still help out with people like that because that's who I am. But so I'm gonna do this video. I'm gonna talk about a lot of stuff, hopefully give some really good information for everyone. But first, let's go ahead and just demonstrate this thing. I'm gonna go and hook this up and show you what it does and kind of how it works. Now, essentially, like I said, the car generator is basically just an inverter that hooks up to your tow vehicle. But basically, and there's multiple different sizes. Okay, there's 1,000 watt, 2,000 watt, and 3,000 watt version. The bigger you go, obviously, you need to make sure that your vehicle can sustain that. Majority of vehicles out there, especially tow vehicles, are going to be fine for the 1,000 watt option. It comes with jumper cables that you just hook onto your battery or your onto your alternator and battery in your tow vehicle. Very simple to do, and now you got 1,000 watts hanging off the front of your truck. Of course, the bigger versions, like the one that I have here, does require a little bit more of an installation, just because inside the tow vehicle, I actually put in some cables that are 1-aught cables that are actually mounted to the truck already. Here's what that looks like. Here's my Anderson plug, and like I said, it's 1-aught cables, and I have it going directly to my alternator. So you can see that the cable is connected right there to a 300 amp fuse, and then the negative is attached to the negative post on the alternator. That way I'm pulling juice directly out of the alternator. Now, obviously, again, mine is the much larger system. You don't need anything this crazy. Just the 1,000 watt version comes with jumper cables. And those jumper cables basically just go right on, like, your positive post right here, and anywhere on the engine block that's negative, and that's really all you got to do to connect it, and you're good to go. So it's very quick, easy, clip on, and you can be using this thing. Now, this is just one example and application, just because I have this big huge brush guard off the front, so it kind of hangs off a little bit farther. But essentially it comes with this strap. You just hook it somewhere in your engine bay. Again, if you have the larger version, you have the Anderson connectors, but again, you need to make sure your alternator can support it. Otherwise, the jumper cables just go right on, the thing hangs off, and you just close your hood, partially. Okay, just like that. That way, everything still stays dry under your hood. It can be raining outside. This thing basically vents out the top up here. That's open. And so the inverter inside is blowing its hot air out the top. So it still stays completely dry. And you can use this thing in the snow, in the rain, in any wind or, crazy environment. So the truck is started and it's showing 14.5 is the voltage. So it's really nice that it has its built-in little voltmeter here. So you know that your alternator isn't being overstrained or anything like that, and if it is, obviously you can shut it down. All we're going to do from here is go ahead and plug in. This is a 20 amp receptacle, so I'm going to plug in a 20 amp extension cord, and then that goes from a typical 20 amp adapter to my 50 amp, and again, they make 30 amp dog bones if you have a 30 amp trailer, 30 amp down to 20 amp or 30 amp to 15 amp, whatever you want to call it, but a standard receptacle. But this dog bone is all you need, and a good high like I said, 20 amp extension cord. Again, for my model. Okay, for a regular model, you only need a 15 amp for that 1,000 watts, but I'm just showing you what I'm using. All right, so now I got my plug all plugged in, ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the inverter on. It's gonna go through its system. Click the GFCI, you got a green light, you're good to go. So now that's it. You're plugged in. You're basically plugged in to whatever version you got. Okay, so let's just say you got the standard 1000 watt version. All of your outlets inside your RV are now live, so you can watch TV, you can turn on things. Now something like the microwave that pulls 1200 to 1500 watts, guess what? It's going to try and do it, and the inverter is going to overload and it'll shut off. Big deal. That's really all that's going to happen. The inverter will just shut down. You can't do big loads. So, but you can watch TV, you can charge your phone, you can use your CPAP machine or other medical device that you might need overnight. I mean, I just absolutely love how simple this product really is, but what a great design by Jonathan there at Car Generator to create that enclosure so that that thing can hang off the front of your truck. You can be overnighted at a Cracker Barrel or whatever your case is, and have that available juice while going down the road without breaking the bank on doing a big, huge inverter battery setup if that's not something that you really need. Now let's talk a little bit more about my specific case, or some people that are just a little bit crazier, have more power demand, like myself. So last week's video, I upgraded my alternator to a larger amperage alternator that produces 200 amps at idle. So now I have a 3000 watt, that Car Generator is a 3000 watt version. So it can power everything in this rig just like my regular 3000 watt multi-plus could. Okay, but now it's running off the truck. So what's really nice about it is I can be recharging my batteries, which I think the max that it pulls is like 1500 watts total when recharging the batteries at full. I can still run AC or heat pump, microwave, all that type of stuff, because anything that goes over the 3000 watts, my multi-plus would still make up the difference. But I can recharge my batteries just like I'm plugged into a 50 amp shore power, because the multi-plus 2 only has a 120 amp charger, which at your DC voltage, it's only putting out like 15 to 1600 watts. So it's only half of what that thing is capable of. So now I still have an additional, 1000 watts plus that can run other things in the RV. So again, just to kind of talk about a few different options and ways to use this thing. Like I said, for me, I'll be using it like this, where instead of me running my onboard generator to recharge my batteries and run the coach, I can run that right off my truck. So it's using the diesel fuel inside my truck at idle to go ahead and take care of this thing. Now, if you're needing this for overnight and you're thinking, oh, does my vehicle have to idle all night long? Is that good for it? Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Cars are meant to idle for hundreds of hours on end. Yeah, every car does have specific different things, and I'm not going to talk about yours specifically, but Jonathan has done his research on this type of thing. For all those interested, I will be posting a interview video that I did with Jonathan about the Car Generator, just to talk to him, so you guys can see it straight out of the horse's mouth, everything about this product, and kind of where he saw it going, because there's more applications to this than just an RV. Okay, because guess what? If my house loses power, if there's a big power outage, this Car Generator can be just like your regular generator. Now, again, depending on what you're doing, 1000 watt version, or like me, a 3000 watt version, that's what you're limited to. But again, even just the basic 1000 watt version, if you lose power in your house, one of the number one most important things is just keeping the fridge running, right? That's all you really need to do, is keep that fridge running so you don't lose and spoil food. And that 1000 watt version will do that for you. I mean, not even a question. All right, so that's really it for this week's video. Like I said, the Car Generator, it's a great solution for a lot of people for that common problem of just wanting some overnight power with minimal setup and minimal install, stuff like that. It's just an easy thing. Plus it serves so many extra purposes. I can't even get into all the different things you can use it for. Be creative. Next week, I'm actually going to go ahead and post the full interview video that I have with Jonathan from Car Generator, talking about where he came up with the idea and the design and all that type of stuff. It'll be a longer video, probably about a half an hour. But if you're interested in all that additional information, that will be available next week. Until then, make sure you hit that like button, drop a subscribe, put a comment down below, turn the notification bell on. If you got any questions, make sure to drop them down in those comments. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching RV. Bye.